What's up, everybody? This is a new countdown show, Top 15 Countdown. My top 15 worst WCW pay per views I've ever seen. Yes, some of them are worse than others, but here we go with the top 15. You're going to have to watch the entire show to find out. Number 15 starts Number 15 starts off with Starrcade 1990. Not the worst pay per view of all time in WCW and WA history. Not the worst. Or else it would be number one or in the top five. The problem with, in my opinion, the big problem with Starrcade 90 was you had a good roster. You had Doom, you had the Steiners, you had Sting, you had Ric Flair, which don't ask me why they put him under a mask and made him the Black Scorpion. That was beyond stupid. I wasn't a fan of Lex Luger, but they had Lex Luger, and he was in his prime. I'm trying to think who else. They had a Barry Windham, Arn Anderson. They had a good roster of talent. But the problem with Starrcade 1990, they had a tag team tournament, and there were like a lot of the teams from the different countries nobody heard of, nobody knew, none of the fans knew or cared. They had a Russian team nobody cared about, nobody ever heard of these guys. The only teams that anybody knew or cared about was the Great Muta and Mr. Saito from Japan. And the other team fans only knew about was the Steiner brothers. So the entire tag team tournament was a big waste of time, and it was stupid. Even though I believe the Steiners won. And I believe they had 3 or 4 tag matches on one pay-per-view. The Steiners had to win 3 or 4 tag matches to win the tournament. And then just, I don't know, some matches were okay, but the main event was an absolute mess. It was Sting. Love Sting. My favorite wrestlers of all time. Sting defending the World Heavyweight title, which he just won in July, and this was December, against the Black Scorpion. Now they built up the Black Scorpion as from Sting's past. Like he was going to destroy Sting or defeat him and take the world title. Well, the problem is, at a Clash of Champions, I believe Clash of Champions 12 or 11, I think it's 12 or 13. Clash of Champions, Sting already faced a Black Scorpion. And he was just a wrestler under a mask. It was actually Al Perez. He was around in the NWA in the late 80s. So Sting defeated a Black Scorpion already. Then I believe after the match they show another Black Scorpion on the ramp. So anyway, Sting is facing the Black Scorpion again in a cage for the world title Starrcade 90 main event. Dick the Bruiser was the referee. And the match was a mess. It was stupid. Sting ripped off Black Scorpion's mask, and he had another mask on. And then it was revealed that the Black Scorpion, obviously you could tell by his body type, that before his mask was taken off, it was Nature Boy Ric Flair. Why in the hell, I don't know, booked it? Probably Jim Herd or Ole Anderson. 2 real dumbasses. Anyways, Ric Flair is revealed as a Black Scorpion. God awful idea. Stupid idea. And I actually heard in an interview, I believe that Sting gave, maybe Sting, I heard it in a Sting interview or Ric Flair interview, that the Black Scorpion at Starrcade 90 was actually, they thought they could get the Ultimate Warrior and sign the Ultimate Warrior, and he could be the Black Scorpion to take on Sting, because in Black Scorpion promos before Starrcade 90, Black Scorpion, of course, is Ole Anderson talking in a stupid voice, like he's a Black Scorpion cutting promos, saying to Sting, "I know you. We started together in 1986. We trained together." So right there, it was, I guess, they wanted to sign the Ultimate Warrior to take on Sting. And the Ultimate Warrior, I did hear this in an interview. I don't remember from who. Either Sting or Flair. Or someone else. Jim Cornette, maybe. I don't know. But they thought that they could get the Ultimate Warrior because he was from Sting's past. He started together. They trained together. They got in the business together. They were a tag team. And they broke in. I can't remember their tag team name right now, but Blade Runners. They were the Blade Runners. So that actually would have been a great idea if the Ultimate Warrior could have been the Black Scorpion, but that I don't see how that could have happened when Warrior was the WWF champion at the time. How did they think they could get Warrior away from WWF and sign him? I don't think Warrior would ever left when he probably was making a ton of money and he was a WWF World Champion. But anyways, Ric Flair's Black Scorpion was a giant fail. And it would have been better if it could have been Ultimate Warrior. So Starrcade is 1990's number 15 because the main event was god awful. Number 14, WCW. This is, by the way, top 15 worst WCW pay-per-views. Number 14, WCW Battle Bold 1993. Battle Bold. It was just like Lethal Lottery. That's what it was. They're picking names and putting heels and faces together in tag teams. It wasn't a good pay-per-view at all. It was the only Battle Bowl that ever existed. They never did another one. Number 13, Wrestle War 1991. Wrestle War 91. Now, I will say I did enjoy the War Games match from Wrestle War 91, but that was it. All the other matches were pretty pointless and not very good. The entire show was not that good. And what else was stupid is they had Doom lose the tag titles to the Freebirds. Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes. The Freebirds at that time in 91 were way past their prime. They didn't need to be champions again. Then also they had a, I believe, 6-man tag title or 6-man tag team match on the line. Or 6-man tagging, just some talent nobody cared about. Some guy called the Big Cat and some stupid tag team with a Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. I forget their tag team name. It was stupid. They were like patrol officers or sheriffs. I don't know what the hell they were, but just a lot of matches were just not good quality, except for War Games. I believe Lex Luger might have defended the U.S. title against Dan Spivey. That was okay. But anyways, number 13, Wrestle War 91. Number 12, Starrcade 91. Again, a mess of a pay-per-view. The matches were not very good. They were all tag team matches. It was a lethal lottery, Battle Bowl at Starrcade 91. It was no good. The only thing I enjoyed was Sting winning the 2-ring battle royal. That was it. All the other tag matches were stupid and not any good and just a mess. Number 11, Halloween Havoc, 1999. Halloween Havoc 99. I hated it. The entire show was bad, in my opinion. I believe it was the first show Vince Russo got to be head booker or head writer for, and God did he fuck up. What was really god awful was for the WCW World Title, Sting and Hulk Hogan. I don't get who booked this, but it was god awful. Probably Russo. I didn't get it. Hogan gets in the ring, lays down, and Sting looked confused. And Sting pins Hogan, I believe, and wins that way. That makes no sense, and that was dumb, and that was a ripoff. And that was bullshit to the fans. That was like a big F you to the fans to do that. World title match, and the challenger lays down. God, I hope no company ever does that again. Number 11, Halloween Havoc 99. I haven't watched it in like 10, 15 years and maybe longer. And I don't plan to. So I'll just get angry. Number 10, Bash at the Beach 1995. Why? Because the matches were not god awful, but the look of the show was on a goddamn beach. Bash at the Beach 95 was literally on a real beach in California. I believe it's in California. Maybe it was in Florida. I don't remember. I don't really care. But then Tony Schiavone kept saying on commentary, 100,000 people are here on the beach. We got 100,000 people here. No, you did not. That was the biggest lie in the history of wrestling. It was not 100,000 people. It was like, I think 10,000. I believe it's like 10,000 or maybe 8 to 5,000. Not 100,000, not even close. And that was probably Bash at the Beach 95 was one of the worst of all time. But actually another Bash at the Beach topped that one. Number 9, Road Wild 99. God awful. No one cared about a lot of the matches. And the stupid, dumb bikers were there. They didn't care. They barely cheered because they probably didn't know who anybody was. Because they probably got him for free for just being in Sturgis. Seriously, WCW probably just said, all bikers in town, come down to see a free show. Road Wild 99 was so bad. That's why it's in the top 10. It's number 9 because you had Macho Man in his final pay-per-view match with WCW Macho Man against Dennis Rodman. Why? It wasn't even a match. I don't know what it was. They were outside the ring, like brawling the entire match. I believe Rodman got put in a porta potty and he got pushed over. It was god awful. It was a mess. And then the main event was a mess. It was Hulk Hogan back in the red and yellow, which nobody cared. He was back in the red and yellow. It was dumb. He shouldn't have turned babyface. Shouldn't have went to the red and yellow because that felt like it was real definitely in the past. Until he went to WWF and the fans kind of demanded he go back to babyface in the red and yellow. But in 99, nobody wanted to see the red and yellow. Nobody wanted to see Hogan in a main event. Nobody wanted to see him as a babyface. It was Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan in the main event. In an August 99 pay-per-view, they were in the main event. Why? God-awful booking, stupid booking. I believe Hulk Hogan won the world title back from Kevin Nash. I think. Who cares? It was a god-awful show. Do not watch Road Wild 99 ever. Number 8. Hog Wild 96. Hog Wild 96. God-awful show. Like maybe 1 or 2 matches were good. Rey Mysterio, Ultimo Dragon. 3 matches. Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, but that went on too long. And Harlem Heat, Steiner Brothers, I enjoyed. But what I did not enjoy about Hog Wild 96, that's why it's number 8, is the stupid bikers. Revving their engines. A bunch of old, stupid white people that were way too overtanned and drunk and racist. A bunch of racist bikers revving their engines, going nuts. When Harlem Heat came out and were in the ring, the bikers couldn't stand it. That 2 great elite athletes like Harlem Heat, Booker T, Stevie Ray, were in the ring wrestling to entertain them. The bikers, in my opinion, acted like they couldn't stand it. They kept revving their engines and probably throwing stuff in the ring at Harlem Heat. It was disgusting to see. That was probably the most racist wrestling crowd I've ever seen, was at Hog Wild 96. Number 7, Starrcade. Starrcade 99. God awful. Whoever booked it, stupid. You're a dumbass. I'm sure Russo had a lot to do with it, because he was probably still the head writer. Starrcade 99 was bad. It was really bad. First off, Bret Hart got his career ended and got a concussion from a Goldberg super kick. I don't blame Goldberg. And to be honest, I didn't really care. I mean, I thought it was sad. Bret Hart could never wrestle again, but I wasn't that upset. And I never ever blamed Goldberg. It was an accident. Accidents happen, injuries happen in the ring. Bret Hart seems really bitter that he was injured and had to end his career because he always bashes Seth Rollins for having injured Cena, broke his nose, and injured Sting. Bret, get over it. Stop being bitter. You had a great career, and your career ended too soon, but you still had a great, legendary career. And then Starrcade 99, it was, I believe Medusa was defending won the Cruiserweight title, or was defending it. That was a stupid idea. Nothing against Medusa, I love her, but why'd you give her the Cruiserweight title? That was dumb. That killed the Cruiserweight division. And it might have even been Medusa against Oklahoma. God, if it was, I hated Oklahoma. Why the fuck was he booked in a wrestling match on a Starrcade? Again, fuck you, Russo. Fuck you, Ed Ferrara. Number 7, Starrcade 99. Number 6, sad to say, but I had to put it down in this countdown. Number 6 was from my hometown, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Number 6 is Mayhem 2000. Really boring pay-per-view. I watched it like 2 2.5 years ago on the network, or 2 years ago, and I could barely get through it. I almost fell asleep. I was bored as hell. Matches were boring. Again, they had a good roster in 2000. They still had talent, but how it was booked was just god awful. The matches were not entertaining, were not interesting, they were boring. The main event was stupid. It had like I forget what they called the cage match. Cage T. Well, it was a ripoff of a Hell in a Cell. It was Booker T, Scott Steiner. I believe if you defeated your opponent, or you had to put him in a straitjacket to defeat him, I don't get it. Whoever booked Mayhem 2000, that's what I think of you. And you're stupid. God, I dare you to watch Mayhem 2000, not fall asleep or turn it off out of anger. Number 5, Halloween Havoc 98. Again, they had a loaded roster. Great roster in 98. Great talent. You had Jericho, you had Raven, you had Goldberg on fire, you had DDP, you had Hollywood Hogan, you had Bret Hart, Sting. So much great talent. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Kidman. But Halloween Havoc 98 was a mess. You had big matches on it, but they were not entertaining, they were not interesting. They were a mess. Sting Bret Hart was a mess. He had disqualification, which was stupid. I believe it was for the U.S. title. Bret Hart attacking Sting with a bat. That was a dumb idea. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall was supposed to be a big match. It was not any good. I don't know why. A lot of the big matches, the chemistry was totally off. And the matches did not go well except for one of them. DDP Goldberg was good. Really good. The rest of the matches were absolute shit. How they were booked and the guys had no chemistry together. I believe Jericho had a match with Raven. I think it's pretty good. It might have been the opening match, or like the second match. And God almighty, the worst match of Halloween Havoc 98. Hollywood Hogan in the rematch against the Ultimate Warrior, or the Warrior. First off, it was 8 years later. It was 8 years too late. Nobody cared. Both guys were past their prime. I'm sorry, they were both past their prime. Nobody wanted to see it. And the match was god awful. They had no chemistry. And they both just, nothing went right. It was god awful. And I believe they went too long. Their match went way too long, so then the Halloween Havoc feed of the pay-per-view had to cut off. And they didn't have enough time to show the finish of Goldberg DDP. Halloween Havoc 98, number 5. Number 4, Sin. WCW Sin. January 2001 pay-per-view. Not very good. The only match I believe I enjoyed was for the Cruiserweight title, Shane Helms against Chavo Guerrero. That was it. That was the only match I thought was any good. The rest of the card was garbage and just bad. The main event was a mess. Sid broke his leg, sadly. It was an accident. I don't know. He jumped off second rope, which he shouldn't have been doing because he was a big man. He didn't need to do that, but he decided to jump off second rope, snapped his leg in half. It was a gruesome, violent injury. If you have ever seen it, it was not pretty to see. I actually, sadly, I ordered WCW Sin, and I want my money back. Time Warner, give me my goddamn money back. I'm waiting for it in the mail. And the main event was so stupid. I believe it was Sid Scott Steiner, and you had outside enforcers or something, or Ric Flair's commissioner, and then an outside enforcer was coming to the ring from the back. He had like a hockey mask on, took it off. Oh, what do you know? It's Road Warrior Animal. What? That was stupid. That made no sense. And seriously, in 2001, who cared to see Road Warrior Animal a part of WCW? I did not. Nothing against him. The guy's a legend, but he didn't need to be in the ring in 2001. You need to get a main spot. Number 4, Greed. The final pay-per-view in WCW history. Greed. What a stupid name. First off, Sin and Greed, two of the worst names for a pay-per-view ever. Might be worse than Great Balls of Fire. Great Balls of Fire is pretty goddamn bad. That's probably the worst pay-per-view name of all time. Number 3, Greed. I don't remember any of the matches. I think Scott Steiner was still world champion. I didn't care. I didn't care about the main event. All I remember from Greed is Dustin Rhodes and Dusty had a tag match against Jeff Jarrett and Ric Flair, which was just god awful. Number 2, Bash at the Beach 2000. God, I hated it. I liked Booker winning the world title, but just such a god awful pay per view. I didn't care about any of the matches. They were boring to me, not interesting, not entertaining. For being a pay per view, Bash at the Beach 2000 was one of the worst. That's why it's number 2. It's one of the worst because of what Russo did or tried to do to Hulk Hogan. It was so bad. I don't know who came up with the finish, Hogan or Bischoff, I don't care. But Hogan lays down and lets Jeff mid-card Jarrett, should have never pinned Hogan for a 3 count. He was not worthy of that honor. So Jarrett becomes world champion, and Hogan gets on the mic and says to Russo, I don't remember what he said, but he said something like, this is bullshit. This is why this company's going straight down the toilet because of this bullshit. And shit like this because of you, Russo. Then Hogan leaves and actually sues the company and never returns. And then Russo decides to get on the mic, and he had no business disrespecting Hogan or Flair or anybody, because Russo, no fans respect you ever and never will. And you were nothing in the wrestling business. You were absolutely looked at as a joke and nothing. To me, you're looked at as a nobody and a joke and a nothing. You'll never be looked at like, you're lower than the lowest. You and Mark Madden are the lowest pieces of trash, pieces of garbage, pieces of dog shit that have ever been involved in wrestling, in my opinion. Mark Madden, Russo, you two have pissed me off more than anybody else in the history of wrestling. as a fan. I mean, referees deserve more respect than you. A lot of announcers deserve more respect than you. So, anyways, Russo decides to disrespect Hogan on the mic and says, "You're nothing." I don't remember what he said. I don't care. If I ever hear it again, I'll just get angry. I don't remember what he said. He probably said, "Hogan, you're an old piece of shit. Get out of this company." Or so I don't remember. Number 2, Bash at the Beach 2000, and I wish I had my 2.5 hours back from watching a pay-per-view on the network because it's a waste. Number 1, Halloween Havoc 2000. Boring as hell. Boring show. Super boring. Not entertaining. None of the matches were any good. What was really god awful, I believe Sting took on Jeff Jarrett. Again, I don't remember the main event, and I don't care to. It's probably Scott Steiner defending the world title. But what I really hated about Halloween Havoc 2000 was Sting Jeff Jarrett. It was a mess. The finish was god awful. I don't even remember the finish, but yeah, like Sting kept, I believe, defeated Jarrett, and Jarrett might have been dressed as, or Jarrett got defeated, left. Out came a fake Sting. Sting defeated the real Sting. The Crow Sting defeated these fake Stings, and then Jeff Jarrett came out dressed as Sting, I believe. Might have hit him with a guitar. I don't remember. I don't care. I hated how it was booked because they kept bringing out fake old school Stings. They kept bringing them out. They kept getting their fucking ass kicked. And then they kept repeating, bring out Stings. God, it was stupid. And God, it was an awful pay-per-view. Number 1, Halloween Havoc 2000. And believe me, Bash at the Beach 2000 could have been number 1 because of Russo and that god-awful, stupid-ass finish they did with Hogan Jarrett. I truly believe Russo went to WCW and just didn't care and wanted to ruin them for good. Wanted to put them under. And he definitely helped putting them under. That's for damn sure. So this was my top 15 worst WCW pay-per-views of all time. Number 15 was Starrcade 90. Number 1, Halloween Havoc 90. And forever, Russo, you will be the number 1 asshole on my shit list that I hate. Bye for now, everybody.